We're not troubled by the news and events, you see. We're troubled by our opinion of how it's meant to be. I only witness this disorder and this entropy when my mind is chaotic and not the centered me. So I question in my heart, does stress and fear deserve a place? Because after all, they say the universe is observer-based. They also say that beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and perspective, born so pliable, only hardens when we're older. But I met an old man who still marvels when he sees a leaf through the eyes of a child, awestruck with disbelief. And he told me, nothing matters but what matters in your mind. So carry in it what you like and leave the rest behind. Fear and hope are siblings, and anxiety's their cousin. The family of past and future with members by the dozens. They tell you how it could have been and tell you why it wasn't. They want you anywhere but here, anywhere but the present. I think it's becoming more and more obvious to a lot of us today that most of our stress and anxiety comes from spending too much time with these members of this metaphoric family of the past and future. I also think it's very important for us to learn to identify who these members are and what qualities and thought processes they bring into our states of mind. Let's talk about hope, often used to cope. When in an emotional pit, sometimes the only rope. Projecting in our minds a future much more pleasant than the painful one today, the painful one at present. In my life, it's been a tool, and I'm sure you've used it too. Sometimes it's quite effective, and I'm sure it's proved it too. But everything has polarity, and that's a hermetic principle. So we must look at both sides, because I think that's just sensible. And the other side of hope is fear. Fear that hope might not come true. In other words, that's expectation. And that shit's not fun too. It often leads to disappointment. And that, dude, no one wants. You see how hope has shady cousins? The kind that no one flaunts? But the old man I mentioned, he told me something with a little laugh. He said, peace is neither here nor there, so take the middle path. Nowadays, it's becoming more and more difficult for us to not be emotionally burdened by the geopolitical tensions and world events and social injustices. Activism and protesting for noble causes backed by genuine desire for change. And people seeing the importance of the progression of the human civilization. And the need for equal treatment of all life on planet Earth. And in my musical career, I've been called an activist too. Probably because I've created songs around social injustices and things like female gendercide and farmer suicides in India and gang violence in our town. But the truth is, for me, I wrote these songs to unburden myself of the things that I'd come to learn. So what you might see as activism, for me, might just be a selfish coping mechanism. For me, the activism has been more of an inward protest to find and engage with my flaws of processing my reality. And to get to know my mind and maybe come to some perspective, with some more clarity, without the shitty patterns that I succumb to maybe one day master my mind. I'd like to share a poem written by an unknown monk around 1100 AD. When I was a young man, I wanted to change the world, and I found this was too difficult. So I tried to change my nation. When I found this too difficult, I focused on changing my town. And as I got older, I realized I couldn't change my town either. So I thought to change my family. Now as an old man, I realized that I can only change myself. And suddenly I realized that if I had changed myself a long time ago, I could have made an impact on my family. And my family and I could have made an impact on our town. And our town on our nation. And with that, indeed, I could have changed the world. And I want to leave you with this. When your attention is being hijacked by all the confusion and chaos of the world, remember, the inner activist within you is awaiting the most necessary work. Thank you.